The latest in the government just not being able to just mind its own business. Wood burning stove could leave you with a £300 penalty or a criminal record under new regulations. Is yours going to land you with a fine? So basically, a piece of apparatus that has been in use for hundreds of years, and would actually be quite a good solution to the current energy crisis that's going on. The government wants to make things harder for you. They don't want to fix the problem, they want things to be hard so that you will then beg the government to solve the problem that the government caused. And that always results in the government having more power every single time. The heaters cause concern because of the harmful particles they produce. Dangerous emissions increased by 35% between 2010 and 2020. A million Brits who own wood-burning stoves would be fined £300 and even face a criminal record if they misuse them and break air pollution rules. The heaters, which have become popular in recent years as something of a middle-class status symbol, are causing ministers concerns over the dangerous particles they produce. I wouldn't class them as middle class. I know a bunch of people that have got wood stoves. I do live in a little village, though. But yeah, I wouldn't class them as middle class. They're expensive now. They're quite expensive. Like, just not to run. Like, you just go out into the forest and get some bloody wood. I mean, like, to buy an actual wood stove, it is a bit expensive. Emissions of PM 2.5, particulate matter, less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter, which constitute one of the most harmful types of air pollution, increased by 35% between 2010 and 2020. PM 2.5 pollution is invisible to the naked eye and small enough to pass through the lungs, into the bloodstream, and into your organs. By comparison, a human hair has a diameter of about 70 micrometers. Local authorities have struggled to enforce smoke control rules and provide evidence against homeowners that would lead to a conviction in court. Just 17 fines have been issued by councils over 6 years, despite some 18,000 complaints being made by locals. And your lovely neighbourhood snitch. As a result, the government is looking to crack down on misuse of the stoves and has told council chiefs to look at imposing on-the-spot civil penalties, which could be as much as £300 for people trying to heat their homes. Criminal prosecutions could be pursued for the most persistent offenders. How dare they want to be warm, resulting in a fine of up to £5,000 plus a further £2,500 for each day a breach continues afterwards. New regulations mean that all new wood-burning stoves and multi-fuel stoves and fireplaces will have to meet strict new eco-design guidelines. These stipulate that the stove has been independently tested by an approved laboratory and meets requirements on air quality and particulates. I've got a feeling that these new stoves are going to be very, very, very controlled. The new rules also outlaw the sale of the most polluting fuels and ensure only the cleanest stoves are sold. There's wood. Most polluting fuels is wood. Because I know this might be hard to believe, but what you put in a wood burning stove is wood. Would you believe that? It's crazy. I know. The things you learn. Existing wood burning stoves can still be used even if they don't meet the new standards, although restrictions apply to those in smoke control areas. These are specific areas designated by local councils at their whim, I guess, and I've got a feeling that the borders of which are going to increase more and more and more over time, where there is a limit on how much smoke householders can release from a chimney and where only certain authorised fuels can be burned. Authorised fuels. Under the Clean Air Act, wood cannot be burnt in smoke control areas unless using an exempt appliance. So is it approved fuel? So wood, like literally the most basic, the first fuel we ever used. That one you're not allowed. Homeowners can find out if they live in a smoke control area by contacting their local council's environmental services department, which no doubt the number will probably not work, but you could send them an email and they'll be able to get back to you in about 6 weeks. Under new log burner regulations that came into force in May 2021, sales of bagged house coal and wet wood in units under 2 cubic metres became unlawful, and wet wood in bigger volumes must be sold in advice on how to dry it out before it's burned. Only certain types of wood are suitable for burning, and the wood must be dry, meaning it has a moisture content of less than 20%. Homeowners are advised to check this by investing in a moisture meter or ensuring the wood is bought from a bona fide supplier. Environment Secretary Therese Coffey told the Times there were no plans to ban wood burning stoves or open fires altogether. Yet. But admitted many owners didn't understand their effect on the environment. I want an educational approach. We want people to do the right thing, she said. However, the charity Client Earth, which has won pollution cases against the government, called for domestic burning to be phased out. It's literally like the most basic way that people can heat their homes, and it is an excellent solution, and it's one that definitely works. I don't have one myself. I mean, I would like one. It would be quite nice. It'd be quite cool because I can literally just go out in my back garden and get tons of wood. But yeah, it's like see how the simple things that can solve all of our problems. Are you noticing that the government's banning them all and making them illegal in the name of the environment? Have you noticed that? I've noticed that. It's getting harder and harder to get eggs. There was a weird thing as well where all the chicken feed that was being sold for all the people that have chickens at home, it stopped them from laying eggs, and people noticed this. And what they done was they decided to just make their own feed. And lo and behold, the chickens started laying eggs again. All these weird coincidences keep happening. Have you noticed this? I've noticed this. Andrea Lee from the charity said that pollution from wood burning is a growing source of fine particulate matter pollution in some areas, which is a serious threat to people's health. Academics have held the push for enforcement, but fear councils don't have the resources to actually implement the plan. Professor Frank Kelly of Imperial College London says if you report that you've walked past a property and you can see smoke coming out of a chimney when there shouldn't be, it's very, very unlikely that an enforcement officer is going to turn up at that door and do anything good because it's none of your fucking business. None of your business at all. Unless the house itself is actually on fire, then, call the fire brigade. But I mean, if someone has a wood burning stove and they're burning wood in their house, that's none of your business, and just you keep walking, you little snitch. It's down to the local council to enforce them, and they haven't got the manpower to do it. It's really, really strange because council tax keeps going up, but the things that the council are willing to do keeps going down. It's really strange that. It's almost like it doesn't work. Bruce Allen, Chief Executive Officer of biomass and fuel heating organisation HETIS and not-for-profit Woodshare, said, as an organisation, we strive to help people make cleaner, safer choices with their solid fuels. It is reassuring to see fines being issued for unsafe fuel burning, which is a risk to the environment and individuals' health. When buying solid fuel, it is vital for customers to look for the ready-to-burn logo. This ensures that the fuel is certified as having a moisture content of less than 20%. When burned, wetter wood leads to 5 times more emissions than when ready-to-burn certified fuel is used. Burning unsafe and unregulated fuels is dangerous to people's health and the environment. We can all do more to protect our planet. There it is. It is also important to check that your wood fuel is being stored correctly so as not to compromise its integrity. Fuel should be kept off the ground with ample space and ventilation to avoid rotting. Just more government busybody shit. Just that's all it is. More government busybody shit. If someone has a wood burning stove and they want to burn wood, then whatever, they can burn wood. That is their property. That is therefore their business. Right? This would be a really easy and great solution to the energy crisis. Just getting everybody going out to gather wood. There's loads of dead wood lying all over forests. And even though sometimes the dead wood can actually help with it, they help with forests and stuff like that growing, sometimes it doesn't. It stops, if there's too much dead wood, sometimes it can stop saplings from growing, which is why, in medieval times, whenever they had their forest that they were using to build ships and spears and arrows and all that type of stuff, they used to go in, every few weeks or every few months and clear out the forest floor. They basically wanted more vegetation to grow. And they also used the wood they found for various other things like charcoal burning. But, aye, this is just... See how things for example, fishing and hunting, an excellent way to provide yourself with sustenance, or growing vegetables in your own garden. Have you noticed that all these really simple tools, where we could return to the old ways, they're all being banned and illegal and hidden behind paywalls, and you need to have a license and all that type of stuff. There was a couple down in one of my staff bought a house. And one of the conditions for buying his house is he wasn't allowed to grow vegetables in his own garden. And when you try and find a valid reason as to why that is, the council can't give you one. They can't. They've just been told to ban people from growing their own vegetables. Have you noticed that there is a war against self-reliance? Have you noticed this? God, I wonder what type of entity we can rely on then for these needs. Maybe it's the entity that's banning all the simple solutions. I don't know.